All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. The video we're about to watch is titled Cenk Uygur Tries to School Larry Elder and Fails Miserably. Now, they had a little debate about the Central Park 5, and that's what we're about to go to right now. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watch it. Now, let's get into it.
Watch this.
When talking about the Central Park 5, five black and Latino kids in New York that were wrongly accused of a crime they did not do, a heinous crime, rape, murder, etc. When they were proven innocent, he said, who cares? They should go to, they probably did something. These are all over-the-top racist and bigoted comments. Can you not see why we would think that he was racist? And the Republican Party that celebrates him and voted for him on many occasions, therefore, is also racist.
Well, there's a lot to unpack with what you just now said, Cenk. Regarding the Central Park 5, I believe they were guilty. I don't think Donald Trump was wrong about that. I think Ken Burns' documentary was completely wrong. I spoke with the officer in question. By the way, he happened to be a black guy. He was not interviewed in the documentary that Ken Burns did, and he is convinced that these boys did, in fact, commit the crime. But I don't want to debate that.
That's insane, Larry. I got to tell the audience real quick. They were exonerated by the justice system.
I just want to say real quick, notice how, and I'm not sure if he had talked to Larry before this about the Central Park 5, but he was very shocked. But you can see how he tried to back Larry into a corner by saying all these things about the Central Park 5 and then expecting Larry Elder to agree. Like, he backed him into a corner to agree based on everything he had said prior. And then when Larry Elder says, no, they were guilty, you see his face just full of shock. But let's keep it rolling.
System, the DNA of the actual killer was found at the crime scene. So I don't want misinformation on this channel. That's crazy talk.
You said killer. Nobody was killed.
Sorry,
you're right. The DNA
thank you for the clarification.
The DNA of another person was found there. There's no question about that. But during the trial, if you watch the trial, they said that we did not get everybody who was involved. And these boys were not just charged with penetration. They were charged with holding her down and many other crimes related to the rape.
The guy had nothing to do with the kids. They don't even know each other. Okay, go on. But just I want the audience to know they were totally innocent.
I believe they were guilty, and I urge you to read some of the columns that Ann Coulter wrote.
I mean, based on the back and forth, Larry Elder is saying that he actually talked to the lead detective, and you know he's presenting some things that most black people would not have heard of, because for those who aren't black, I guess, or who don't know, but the Central Park 5 case is one of those staple cases in the black community that black people will always go to point out how corrupt the system is and how bad America has treated black people. They got movies about it, documentaries, and yeah, that's just how it is.
About the Central Park 5, and then make your assessment. I also did a documentary about this for Epoch Times. I urge you to take a look at that, where I interviewed the man who was the lead investigator, and then you make up your own mind whether or not I'm right or whether or not Cenk is right.
Yeah, let's get back to by the way, just again, for clarification, the justice system, prosecutors, everyone involved said they did not do it, they were innocent, and they were released. So
no, they didn't. The two lead prosecutors still maintain that these boys were.
No, I don't mean guilty. The original prosecutors who ruined those kids' lives for their own careers. Of course they're going to lie about it. I mean the current day prosecutors who say, no, we found the guy and now we're prosecuting him, the actual guy who did it. But again, I don't want to get stuck on that for the whole interview. People can check out the actual truth for themselves.
The thing that kills me about Cenk Uygur is that he tries to act like he's so under control, calm, collected, nothing bothers him. But then you hear him cursing and raising his voice all the time. It's like, yeah.
No matter what Ann Coulter wrote about it.
Cenk, you're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. You know what the canons of ethics are. The prosecutors have to do justice. And if there's evidence that these boys were innocent, the prosecutors have to then argue and make sure that they are not prosecuted. The lead prosecutors in this case still maintain that these boys were in fact guilty.
Okay, I think they're liars and deeply immoral, but we can move on.
Now, there was a movie about the 5 that purported to show they were in fact innocent, that the confessions that they gave were involuntarily given, that they were deprived of food, water, and access to their parents. All untrue. Also, there was a Ken Burns documentary that made the same argument. Again, untrue. Now, neither Ava DuVernay, who made the movie, nor Ken...
See, I'm sorry to cut him off, but let me just stop the music right there. When I tell you that most black people will look at Larry Elder crazy if they heard him say the things that he said, trust me, I'm 99% sure that I'm correct with that assessment.
Again, untrue. Now, neither Ava DuVernay, who made the movie, nor Ken Burns, who made the documentary, interviewed the lead detective in the case, a man named Eric Reynolds, who happens to be black. But I interviewed him and did an Epoch Times video about the case.
But most importantly, this is for the men that we know as the exonerated five. It's for Raymond, Yusuf, Antron, Kevin, and King Corey Wise.
You know, man, look, I'm gonna just keep it 100, man. I'm black. I love my people, man. I love black people, but I really think we have a problem where we let culture override or outweigh like facts, or and actually really finding out something. It's like if a popular movie comes out about something, some historic event or some moment in time, we 100% believe the movie. And then you'll see these authors, the people who wrote the movie, coming out saying that it was a little bit of white lies here or bending of the truth here and there. It's like, but we really believe this stuff. The Color Purple, Roots, When They See Us, everything. We digest this stuff and believe it to be true too much. Larry Elder went in and did some research himself, which I hope we get into right now or soon.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's a blessing.
One slight problem. The Central Park Five were guilty. Of course, that's not the conclusion that Ken Burns reached in his documentary.
But you'd think their spidey sense would go off for 1,000 different reasons, that they didn't know where the crime had taken place. They were in some other place when it did. It was an incredibly bloody crime scene. There's nothing of the crime scene on the boys. There's nothing of the boys on the crime scene. They didn't know each other. They spent all this time in prison not asking for parole. I mean, when they went up for parole, not saying I did it so they could get out earlier. And when film, I have to say, and Charlie, you know this, is a kind of polygraph. Yes. You read it after a couple of hours. We go in and we let you decide. And you see these were good kids, that they hadn't done it.
And then there's the Ava DuVernay TV miniseries called...
See, so, and I just like to point out that this is a white guy that, was behind making this movie, but he doesn't have all of the facts at his disposal when he made the movie. And he's talking about how the kids was innocent. Due diligence needs to be made before you make a movie that's gonna affect culture this deeply.
And then there's the Ava DuVernay TV miniseries called When They See Us, which makes the same claim. Innocent men railroaded by a racist criminal justice system.
Is my mom here?
It's just us. You and us.
Who you were in the park with? I don't know names. I just got lost.
Where did you see the lady?
One lady.
The female jogger was severely beaten and raped. Every black male who was in the park last night is a suspect. I need all of them.
Now, neither...
And the way they design these movies, it's designed to pull on your heartstrings. You're not supposed to be thinking straight. You're supposed to go into this movie thinking, damn, they did us wrong all the time, and it's cases where they definitely have, but you gotta go do your own research and find out the truth for real, because movies are not the truth. Movies are movies.
All of them.
Now, neither Ken Burns nor Ava DuVernay interviewed the lead detective in the case. His name is Eric Reynolds, but I did.
Hey, Larry, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this and set the record straight.
Well, you were there that night. Why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, to begin with, I'm listening to Ken Burns, and it's astounding to listen to him fabricate what went on that night. Ken Burns, I could never watch anything that he's produced anymore with any amount of confidence that he's telling the truth, that this is an honest portrayal of what's happened.
Now, Detective, you were there that night. Did you and your partner arrest the people that became the Central Park Five, all 5 of them?
What happened was we were looking for the group of teenagers who were wilding, who were rioting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the best way to describe it. They were rioting in the park. We came upon 20 to 30 of them after they had assaulted the teacher, John Laughlin, and beat him so badly that both of his eye sockets were shattered and his skull was cracked. He wasn't even able to identify who it was that beat him because he couldn't see. His head looked like it was dunked in a bucket of blood.
Damn. Wow.
We captured 5 of the 30 that we observed because the group, of course, started running when we went to apprehend them.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of the 5 were Kevin Richardson and Raymond Santana, part of the Central Park 5.
Mm-hmm.
And just so that you understand, as we observed the group, we watched Raymond Santana with Stephen Lopez leading the group. I could see them turning around and addressing them almost as though they were leading the pack, and as they were walking uptown, up Central Park West.
Mm-hmm.
Once we arrested them, you have to understand something. We arrested them before the jogger was even found. The jogger was still in the ravine. She was by herself in a ditch by a stream, basically dying.
Oh, and did I mention that the lead detective in the case, Eric Reynolds, is black? And what about those alleged civil rights abuses?
Detective, as you know, you are accused of forcing the confessions. You're accused of not giving the boys the opportunity to be with their parents, not giving them food and water, not allowing them to use the restroom. Linda Fairstein has been characterized as a racist. And I want to give you an opportunity to address some of these distortions.
Were they really denied food, water, bathroom facilities, access to their parents? Well, inflation continues to be
Yeah, where does that has to come from somewhere. He got a little ad plan, but let me skip past this.
It was full of lies. She said the miniseries portrays the suspects as being held without food, deprived of their parents' company and advice, not even allowed to use a bathroom. Nonsense. If that were true, that would have been brought up at the hearing where they determined the confessions were voluntary. It says that the film suggests the only evidence that they have against the suspect is their forced confessions. Not true. One woman testified that one of them told her he held her down, probably thinking that holding her down meant that he was exonerated from crime. She was wrong. There were bloodstains and dirt on some of the other 5, Linda Fairstein said. There were statements made by more than a dozen other kids who participated in the park rampage, fingering the 5. And regarding the claim that Mateus Reyes solely was there, she said, well, if he said he was solely there and the jury heard that, they probably wouldn't have convicted them regarding raping her or being involved in the rape of her, but they were also involved in attacking and assaulting other people, so the other charges should not have been vacated. The second lead prosecutor, Tim Clements, believes that Mateus Reyes is a complete liar and doesn't believe any of the charges should have been vacated. The lead officer on this case is my guest, retired New York detective Eric Reynolds. He's been on the force about 20 years. Detective,
that's correct.
Detective, again, when you watched the documentary that Ken Burns did, your reaction to that documentary was what?
Oh, it's a complete farce. Ken Burns himself said that he made the documentary for one reason, and that was to force the city to pay the lawsuit, to pay the Central Park 5 money, and that's it. That's why he would not show the city the outtakes from the filming that he did, because he didn't want people to see the contradictions. He didn't want people to see the lies. He didn't want people to see that they were clearly involved in the attack on Patricia Miley, a.k.a.
Exactly, and this dude Eric Reynolds, the dude that was involved in the case, he has something to be upset about, because this dude made a movie about an event that he took place in. You know, he was a lead investigator or a lead detective in the case, and this dude just comes and mucks it all up and you know, just distorts the whole story. That's not right. It's not right.
The Central Park jogger. All you have to do is watch the videos. Watch the videos in their entirety. There's a website called CentralPark5JoggerAttackers.com. They have the videos there. Watch them all. Look to see if they're sleep deprived. Look to see if they're deprived of going to the bathroom. Look to see if they get their rights read to them. Their rights are read right to them at the beginning. Their parents are there. They're not you know, being kept from going to the bathroom or any of the nonsense that you've been fed by Ken Burns, Sarah Burns, and Ava DuVernay.
I also understand, Detective, that the daughter of Ken Burns worked with one of the lawyers filing the lawsuit against the city.
Absolutely, she worked for their attorneys. If you read the book, because I read.
So that's the incentive right there that he had to make the movie, and that she might have had to tell him to do that and portray it this way to get everyone to believe it. Wow, you guys. Well, I'm gonna end this video right here because I didn't expect this video to be, 18 minutes long. But I might trim a little bit, a few pieces. But this was a good video for me to see, because I didn't have all the information or as much information about this case, and this was kind of something. If someone were to try to debate me on this, I wouldn't be well equipped to handle it. But after seeing this video, and I'm gonna finish watching it for myself, I mean, now I know what really went on outside of the movie and how that's depicted. But let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe on your way out of here. Till next time, you guys, I'm out. Peace.